Chapter 9. Craziness is Relative. Oliver and Melissa neared the conclusion of their flight aboard a commercial airplane bound for Addis Ababa Bole International Airport. As they traversed the final leg of their journey, Oliver received word that Serafina, an elusive figure from his past, was seeking him out.
Rest assured, they won't be able to trace us through any technological means.
Oliver assured Melissa, his tone confident.
We've taken every precaution to eliminate any tracking devices.
You mean I was the one who took those precautions?
Melissa retorted, her skepticism evident. Oliver grunted in response as the pilot's voice crackled over the intercom, signaling their imminent descent and urging passengers to secure their belongings. Upon disembarking and stepping into the bustling terminal, Oliver and Melissa were greeted by a populace whose demeanor mirrored that of their counterparts back in the States, following the revelation of extraterrestrial life from the distant planet Tures. Unbeknownst to them, the locals had fallen prey to the psychic dissolution pathogen, a sinister force spreading through the populace. However, Oliver and Melissa remained unaffected, thanks to their prolonged hibernation within Infinite Point, a sanctuary nestled within the heart of New York City. Navigating through the throngs of bewildered citizens, Oliver's gaze fell upon a familiar face.
Raziq, it's good to see you.
Oliver called out.
Oliver, my friend, time has certainly taken its toll.
Raziq chuckled warmly. Melissa glanced at Oliver anxiously, fearing an emotional outburst. Yet, to her surprise, Oliver's response was laced with humor.
Unfortunately, I can't say the same for you. How long have you been here?
Just a few days.
Raziq replied.
I arrived from LAX after receiving your message, and before you ask, no one is aware of our meeting. I must admit, receiving your message in a handwritten note was a bit unexpected. I wasn't aware paper was still used.
Oliver interjected.
You didn't expect a call, did you?
Of course not.
Raziq chuckled.
Our transportation awaits. Let's gather your belongings and depart.
We're traveling light, only carry-ons.
Oliver informed him. As they moved towards their awaiting ride, Raziq turned to Melissa, extending a courteous greeting.
Pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
Melissa replied, curiosity piqued.
How long have you known Oliver?
Long enough to still enjoy collaborating with him.
Raziq quipped, casting a glance at Oliver.
And you?
He's my father, so I don't really have a choice.
Melissa said with a smile.
Ah, my condolences.
Raziq said sarcastically, eliciting laughter from the trio.
Enough chatter.
Oliver interjected.
We have a 12 to 15-hour journey ahead of us before we arrive in Tigray.
Judging by the stories I've heard about long drives with him, you might want to reconsider your friendship.
Melissa teased.
It could always be worse.
Raziq remarked with a grin as they embarked on their next adventure together. The journey stretched endlessly across the barren landscapes of Earth, devoid of the usual bustle of civilization. Melissa and Raziq, their anticipation palpable, repeatedly inquired about their plan to secure the Book of Enoch from Gerima Monastery. Oliver's response remained steadfast, a mantra amid the monotony of the road. Honesty. Amid the hum of the vehicle's engines, the trio pressed on, their destination looming in the distance like a mythical citadel. Each passing mile seemed to heighten the mystery and significance of their quest. Melissa's gaze wandered over the alien terrain, where craggy cliffs met the horizon, and Raziq fiddled with the controls, his mind undoubtedly racing with thoughts of the enigmatic artifact they sought. Oliver, with his unwavering determination, offered little more than his cryptic assurance. Yet his demeanor betrayed a quiet confidence, as if he held some hidden knowledge of the journey ahead. In the silence of the vehicle's cabin, his words hung like a promise, a beacon guiding them through the unknown. As they traveled deeper into the heart of the wilderness, the landscape shifted, morphing into a surreal tableau of ancient ruins and overgrown vegetation. The air crackled with an otherworldly energy, infusing their mission with an aura of the fantastical. With each passing hour, the anticipation grew, building to a crescendo as they finally approached Gerima Monastery. Melissa and Raziq exchanged nervous glances, their resolve tested by the gravity of their task. Oliver's words continued to echo in their minds, a reminder of the power of truth in a world shrouded in secrets. The Gerima Monastery was nestled amidst the rugged landscapes of Tigray, Ethiopia. Oliver wasted no time in leading the charge towards the entrance, his determined stride signaling the urgency of their mission. Melissa and Raziq followed closely, the air thick with anticipation and a hint of apprehension. As they stepped onto the monastery grounds, a sense of quiet unease settled over them, the atmosphere laden with an unfamiliar aura. Their surroundings seemed to whisper ancient secrets, prompting them to tread cautiously as they ventured forward. A monk, clad in traditional robes, approached Oliver with a serene demeanor, his presence both calming and enigmatic against the backdrop of the monastery's ancient walls. With a respectful bow, he inquired how he could be of service, his gaze flickering between the trio with a quiet curiosity. Oliver, ever the eloquent diplomat, launched into a detailed explanation of their purpose, his words carefully chosen to convey both reverence and determination. The monk listened attentively, nodding in understanding before gesturing for them to follow him towards the main church. Inside, the vast expanse of the sanctuary unfolded before them, adorned with modern paintings, veiled under protective plastic sheets and intricate geometric ceiling designs that spoke of a rich cultural heritage. Oliver's eyes widened in admiration at the sight, his appreciation for the monastery's artistic treasures evident in his reverent gaze. As the monk continued to guide them through the hallowed halls, he shared tales of the monastery's storied history, highlighting its renowned collection of religious artifacts. Melissa's keen eyes darted around the room, taking in the ancient manuscripts displayed in glass cases alongside ornate crosses, regal crowns, and intricately embroidered robes. But amidst the monk's hospitable explanations, Melissa couldn't shake the feeling of misunderstanding lingering in the air. With a sense of urgency, she pulled Oliver aside, her voice tinged with concern.
Dad, I don't think the monk understood our intentions. It's like he heard you but interpreted it as a request for a tour.
Oliver's brows furrowed in frustration, but he quickly composed himself, realizing the gravity of their situation.
We need to tread carefully,
he replied tersely, his tone laced with urgency. Melissa glanced over at Raziq, who remained stoic, his emotions masked behind a facade of calm.
We'll figure this out together,
she reassured him, her resolve unwavering even in the face of uncertainty. Once the monk concluded his enigmatic response, Oliver's expression darkened with a tinge of disappointment and realization. The monk's words resonated with an otherworldly significance, hinting at the transcendence of the sought-after artifact beyond mortal grasp. Melissa, sensing her father's inner turmoil, couldn't help but inquire about his thoughts.
Dad, what does that mean?
She queried, her voice tinged with concern. Oliver's gaze lingered on the distant horizon, his mind undoubtedly grappling with the implications of the monk's cryptic revelation.
The Turessians have it,
he stated matter-of-factly, his words heavy with resignation. Turning back to the monk, Oliver posed another question, this time about the fabled Ark of the Covenant rumoured to reside in the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion. Yet the monk's response echoed the same ethereal sentiment as before, leaving Oliver with a sense of futility in his pursuit. With a solemn nod of gratitude, Oliver bid farewell to the monk, his heart heavy with unanswered questions. As they left the church, Melissa and Raziq looked to Oliver for guidance, their trust unwavering despite the uncertainty looming ahead.
Now what?
Raziq's voice broke the silence, his eyes searching for a glimmer of hope.
We need to find Serafina,
Oliver replied, his tone resolute. Before they could contemplate their next move, a commanding figure emerged from the shadows, his demeanor exuding an aura of authority. Melissa and Raziq tensed as the man addressed them, his words laden with an implicit threat. As Oliver was forcibly taken away, Melissa and Raziq stood frozen in shock, their minds racing with a whirlwind of emotions. With their options limited, they watched helplessly as Oliver disappeared into the darkness, leaving them with more questions than answers. In the hover vehicle, Oliver's apprehension mingled with a sense of grim acceptance as he demanded to know their destination.
Mount Hayes.
The man replied ominously.
Serafina wants a word with you.
Oliver's lips curved into a wry smile.
About time!
He muttered under his breath, bracing himself for the inevitable confrontation that awaited him atop the imposing peak. As Melissa and Raziq stood outside the monastery, grappling with the whirlwind of events that had just unfolded, Raziq voiced his frustration with a sigh.
Well, this was a waste of time,
he muttered, his disappointment palpable. Melissa nodded in agreement, her thoughts consumed by the sudden turn of events. However, their despondency was short-lived as the monk approached them once more, holding out a weathered piece of parchment made from calfskin. Melissa's eyes widened in surprise as the monk explained its significance.
This parchment is the last page of the Book of Enoch.
The monk informed her before retreating back into the depths of the church. Curiosity piqued, Raziq reached out to inspect the ancient document.
Can I see that?
He asked, his tone tinged with intrigue. Melissa handed it over without hesitation, allowing Raziq to scrutinize the intricate Ge'ez script etched upon its surface.
Can you translate it?
With a confident smirk, Raziq assured her,
Of course you don't think your father keeps me around for my good looks, do you?
Ignoring the jest, Melissa urged him to translate the text, her patience waning with each passing moment. Raziq nodded, his focus shifting to the task at hand as he delved into the ancient language.
It speaks of the fate of the righteous and the wicked, the coming of the Messiah, the resurrection of the dead, and the establishment of God's kingdom.
Raziq relayed, pausing momentarily before his expression shifted with a sudden realization.
Wait.
Utilizing the advanced technology embedded within his ocular implant, Raziq scanned the text and processed it through his personal identification chip or PIC, a device integrated seamlessly into his neural interface. Almost instantly, his eyes widened with a revelation.
DNA!
He exclaimed, his voice laced with excitement as the implications of his discovery began to unravel before them. Melissa's rebuttal was swift and thorough, her expertise shining through as she debunked Raziq's initial theory.
DNA? You're not going to find any DNA on that parchment,
she explained patiently.
They would have tanned the leather using either vegetable extracts or mineral salts like alum or chromium. There's no way touch DNA from humans would have survived the tanning process. Plus, touch DNA would only last for several days, not to mention the countless individuals who could have handled it. And there's no indication of bloodstains.
Raziq nodded in acknowledgement, his enthusiasm undeterred as he processed Melissa's insights.
No, there isn't,
he conceded, his ocular implants confirming the absence of any biological remnants.
I'm not referring to physical DNA. I'm talking about the representation of someone's DNA sequence in a binary format.
Melissa nodded in agreement, her own understanding of genetic encoding coming to the forefront.
Yes, the genetic information encoded in DNA is often represented using a binary system in bioinformatics and computational biology.
Already a step ahead, Raziq's PIC swiftly retrieved pertinent information from the vast repository of online knowledge.
According to what I've found,
he continued, his voice tinged with excitement,
there are 4 nucleotides: adenine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine. These nucleotides can indeed be represented in binary. Adenine as 00, cytosine as 01, guanine as 10, and thymine as 11.
As the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place, Melissa and Raziq exchanged a knowing glance, their collaborative effort propelling them closer to unraveling the mysteries hidden within the ancient parchment. Melissa's astute analysis halted Raziq's train of thought, her explanation illuminating the complexities of decoding a DNA sequence represented in binary form.
Stop,
she interjected, her tone firm yet contemplative.
Let's consider that if we find a DNA sequence like ATCG, the binary representation would be read as 0011, 1101, 0100, 10110. To simplify, 00 equals A, 11 equals T, 01 equals C, and 10 equals G.
Raziq listened intently, his mind racing with the implications of Melissa's deductions.
So, to decode the entire human genome, we would need approximately 6.4 billion nucleotide base pairs from both strands of the double helix.
Melissa continued, her voice tinged with a sense of urgency.
But our current computational power isn't sufficient for such a task. However, I believe I know someone who might have the resources we need.
Curiosity piqued, Raziq queried.
Who?
An old friend of my father's, Scott.
Melissa revealed, her confidence unwavering.
But before we proceed, I have a question. Where is all this binary code? I don't see it on the parchment.
Raziq explained patiently.
That's because you would need to magnify the text immensely. Without an ocular implant, you wouldn't be able to see it with the naked eye.
Melissa's brow furrowed in confusion.
See what?
The binary code is intricately woven into the letters of the words on this parchment. It's similar to steganography.
Raziq clarified, his tone tinged with awe.
I can say for certain that no humanoid technology has ever achieved such precision.
Melissa's eyes widened in realization.
That's because the Teresians wrote it.
She concluded, her voice barely above a whisper as the implications of their discovery began to sink in.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
Raziq's voice carried a hint of incredulity as he processed the implications of their conversation.
Yes.
Melissa chuckled in agreement, the tension of the moment momentarily broken by their shared laughter.
As my father always says, Occam's razor.
Melissa replied, her tone reflective.
Well, we best get back to the States if we want to figure out what this code is.
Melissa suggested, her mind already racing ahead to the next step in their journey.
Sounds good. Are you sure your friend Scott can crack it?
Raziq inquired, a note of uncertainty in his voice.
There's no doubt in my mind.
Melissa affirmed with confidence.
The man is not only a walking genius, but someone who would go beyond the call of duty to help a friend.
It's good to have friends like that.
Raziq remarked, a hint of admiration in his tone.
Yes, it is.
Melissa agreed wholeheartedly. As they embarked on their journey back to the States, Melissa seized the opportunity to test Raziq's knowledge.
So do you know what DNA stands for? And don't use your devices.
She challenged playfully.
I know what it stands for.
Raziq responded with a grin.
But don't ask me to pronounce it.
Melissa smiled knowingly.
How hard is it to pronounce deoxyribonucleic acid?
Raziq raised an eyebrow in response.
Can you read Gayez?
He countered, his playful banter drawing another laugh from Melissa.
Point taken.
She conceded, realizing the irony of her challenge. As they continued their journey, their light-hearted exchange served as a welcome respite from the weight of their discoveries and the challenges that lay ahead.
Global Reaction News. A mysterious journey unfolds.
In the latest development, our field reporter tracked a pair of travelers who recently touched down in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, amidst whispers of a strange reunion and an impending encounter with a figure from their past. Witnesses describe a bustling scene at the airport, overshadowed by an eerie sense of unease stemming from reports of a mysterious psychic dissolution pathogen also sweeping through the local populace. These travelers, seemingly unfazed by the chaos around them, navigate the crowded terminal, drawing attention with their unusual immunity to the psychic plague. Meanwhile, locals succumb to its effects, adding to the sense of apprehension permeating the area. As they proceed with their journey, they encounter an acquaintance who we have not identified yet, whose quick wit offers a brief respite from the tension. Their exchange hints at a shared history and a mutual understanding of the challenges ahead. Throughout their journey, the travelers remain tight-lipped about their destination, fueling speculation among onlookers. Their interactions with locals and their encounters with the enigmatic monk at Gerima Monastery only deepen the mystery surrounding their mission. However, as they depart the monastery, their plans take an unexpected turn when they are confronted by a shadowy figure who forcibly separates one of the travelers from the group. The remaining companions are left stunned, their next steps uncertain as they grapple with the sudden turn of events. And that's a wrap for today's Cosmic Capers, folks. Remember, when life throws you mysterious monks and psychic plagues, just roll with it. With a smile, of course. This is Emily Jokewell signing off. Until next time, stay strange.